Welcome to Giant Ability TV. Life is understood backwards, but lived forward. This is the wisdom of a wise man, and it is applicable to every situation that we find ourselves in life. By implication, we are to leave the past behind if we are to get into the future. Nonetheless, the present is the battlefield where we need to prove ourselves as worthy ambassador and agents of change. There are three well-known agents of change that live with us and have been very instrumental in bringing about change in times past. These include the clergy, musicians, and students. The clergy played important roles as revealed to us by history, and a good example of some of them are the missionaries that came and transformed the continent of Africa. As a matter of fact, they were ordained and designed to be the light of the world and salt of the earth. They have, in so many ways, played the role of transforming lives and societies. They are everywhere in most parts of the world today and perform in various capacities, which include pastors, evangelists, teachers, and apostles. For some reason, some of them have had their callings corrupted or contaminated by the love of the mundane things of life, thereby making them cease from being the authentic mouthpiece of God on the earth. Without gainsaying the fact that the future of every nation with its foundation inclusive rests on the activities of the clergy, and as the saying goes, every student is expected to be a signpost of his teacher, and the same is the case with nationhood in relation to the clergy. Recall that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor of the Baptist denomination, and his good name cannot be forgotten for the good works he did towards liberating humanity in America. Another important agent of change, which in both the past and present should serve as the mouth of the people, especially the less privileged and the downtrodden, are the musicians. Music is believed by some people to be the soul of life, but I wouldn't know how apt this description is. Nonetheless, a merry heart does good as medicine that a broken spirit who can bear. This saying is scriptural as well as real. Music is a form of entertainment and it appeals directly to the soul of man, and to this end, therefore, could be used to impact on humans positively and towards the achievement of positive ends. History, which does not die, is favorable to some artists, both living and dead, who have used their talents in lifting up the source of people as well as communicating important messages to the people in position of authority. Musicians like late Bob Marley, a Jamaican who also was a social crusader, used the song to speak truth to power at the local, national, and international levels. Thus, his name lives on after he's gone. This same philosophy was adopted by some local and international musicians whose names have been engraved on our hearts, especially in Africa, and some of these include the legend Fela Ransom Kuti. He paid the price of speaking truth to power, but immortalized his name. Musicians like him are missing, and hence the deterioration of moral values both against the followers as well as the leaders. The love of money has affected the vision of most of the musicians we have around today, and they have in turn been reduced to mere praise singers and live like dogs who can only bark and cannot bite. A wise man once said that before you tell someone how good you are, you must be able to tell him how bad you used to be. There is a need for those artists who are youths that are making waves in the world today to change the trajectory as well as the narrative by introducing into their music messages that speak truth to power as well as mobilize the people in the direction of change. It is important to recognize the important roles that students have played in political movements as they organize themselves into unions that prioritize activism. History has it that in most of the struggle that led to the independence of most of the African countries, the student unions, labor unions, as well as the civil society organizations played an invaluable role. The students in our tertiary institutions today seem to have lost the vibrancy and the fire with which they were recognized in the past. The change is not unconnected with the influences from the societies in which they have lived and still live today. Nonetheless, the EndSARS movement that was witnessed in Nigeria in 2021, which led to the Lekki massacre of some of the youths and protesters, rekindles the fire that has been lost and has given hope to the hopeless. The impasse between the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, of Nigerian universities, and the federal government paints a picture of the struggle between darkness and light. This has led to the federal universities in Nigeria to be closed for more than 6 months now, making the students idle and vulnerable as they sit at home with no hope of when they are likely to resume schooling. My advice to the students as well as their lecturers is from the wisdom of others. Never go out with your shotgun or knowledge half-cocked. The permanent voters card (PVC) is a weapon that must be engaged by the students and their lecturers to pay the federal government back when the time comes. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, which are very instructive, he declares, "When I am confronted with the task of chopping down a tree in 8 hours, I spend 6 hours sharpening my axe head, and the rest becomes history." Let the dry bones arise, for your light has finally come, and a word is enough for the wise. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.